BJ?
Yep.
There appears to have been a typo on the official chip counts, and it turns out there is no Christ Summers.
There is no Christ. His name was Chris Summers. It was just a little bit of confusion on the end of the day chip counts. We went with the Christ theme yesterday, but Jess, once again, Christ fictional.
That Christ fictional. I think the others are still up for debate, and I don't really know if I trust the judgment of a man who ate a Sour Patch Kid off of this floor without using his hands earlier today.
I see it as somebody who got paid $65 for doing that, which means I am $65 closer to getting a new iPad announced by Apple this morning. Okay, $65.
Before we get off on the iPad tangent, can we do the show?
Let's do the show.
Welcome to Eyes in the Sky.
Eye in the Sky.
With Jess and BJ, or Eye in the Sky even. We calling it Eye in the Sky today because we have our Trapani brothers making another run in this event. As you may know, last year, Chris Trapani, who is one of the sons of the late Marko Trapani, who was once an owner of this casino, pioneered the Bay 101 event. He made a run here, finishing in 12th place. Now his older brother, Marko Jr., is making the same run, and their dad had an office up on the second floor that looked out over the tournament area, and there was a window, and it's his little eye in the sky, so they always kind of gesture to that window when they're in a big hand and they double up.
Right, and there was a big hand today that was very similar to a big hand last year, and the Trapani brothers went through the same motions and all of that. It was just very similar. It
was a very, very similar situation where Marko Jr. had ace queen to queens and turned an ace to crack top Marquesas queens. Last year, Chris Trapani, I had either ace queen to queens or ace king to kings, I can't remember, and turned an ace to bust Eric Lidger in the shooting.
Okay, well, let's reverse the order. Let's settle up after we do this one.
Yeah, it just makes sense. Our new over-under today, since we have the Trapani brothers here, is where Marko Trapani is going to finish tomorrow.
Chris Trapani finished 12th last year, so will Marko Jr. better that by finishing lower, or bust out earlier, finishing higher?
Worth noting that Marko is kind of
17th out of 20 in chips, but Chris was short stacked last year.
I love this story. It's all like, it was really cool last year. I think it's even better this year. That I'm gonna ride the Trapani train with the selection of the under.
All right, well, I'm math, and the odds are stacked against him.
Boring.
Yes, math, nothing agrees with math. But I think he is going to play the short stack well. I don't think he's going to be, just shoving it in. He wants to go as deep as possible. I think he's going to outperform expectations, but I don't think he's going to beat his brother's performance. I think he's going to bust out a little bit higher than 12. I hope I'm wrong.
Wherever he finishes, I think it's a super impressive run for a guy that really doesn't play poker, and he and Chris just play this event in memory of their dad.
Right, and these were the first two Shooting Star events after the death of their father, summer of 2010.
Before we move on, we do need to settle up.
Yes.
Yesterday, our over-under was, of the 19 shooting stars that came back for day 2, how many of them were going to be alive when we bagged and tagged at the end of the night? Bookie set the line at 4.5. We both took the under.
Wisely took the under. And when we reached the money, it looked like the bookie may have had a shot, but
there are only 2 left.
Who are they?
JC Tran, who is 19th out of 20th in chips, and really just kind of had to claw and fight his way to make it to the end of the day. And you had Jonathan Duhamel, who
continuing a hot run in 2012.
Had a lot of chips, faded there at the end. I think I saw on his Twitter that he is fighting a fever or a cold of some sort and was not feeling great, which is not a good recipe for success.
But it's not like he hasn't overcome the adversity this year already.
That's very true. All right, so we've settled up. We've done our new over-under.
Right, we both beat the bookie on that one.
We did lose a lot, but some of them did finish in the money, the shooting stars. We act like they didn't do that well.
No, they did well to get in the money, and then...
Yeah, do you want to run down the shooting stars that did make the money?
I will. Fabrice Soulier was the first to finish money, 35th.
The top 36 got paid.
Linda Johnson, a personal favorite of both of us, 33rd. We were really hoping final table. Alan Cunningham, 28th. Jason Mercier, 27th. Men win, 23rd. And then JC and Jonathan Duhamel, we will see.
We'll see how it goes tomorrow for them. They do have to contend with people bounty hunting for them, which seemed to be a little more serious today than it was yesterday.
Yeah, should we run down? We now have 3 players who have collected multiple bounties.
Yes, but none of them have collected more than 2.
Right.
Michael Wyrot has the same 2 he had from Day 1B, which are Eugene Katchlov and Todd Brunson.
Correct.
Joe Searock got both of his today.
Right, Marvin Rettenmeyer early, which seems like 3 days ago, but it was really just earlier this afternoon.
And very late in the day picked up number 2 with Alan Cunningham. And then you have the guy who can pick up a 3rd bounty simply by winning the tournament, because shooting star Jonathan Duhamel busted Elke Gross-Pellier and Jason Mercier to pick up 2
The French-Canadian guy busted the French guy.
Ooh la la! He busted the French guy, but there is another French-Canadian in the field.
Who?
C'est Eric Cagelet!
I don't do accents.
I'm sorry, I love doing the French-Canadian accent, as offensive as it may be. Montreal. Eric Cagelet's doing great. He's top 5 at chips.
He's a big guy.
He's a big guy. Very, very toned.
Yes. In addition to picking up multiple bounties,
we had that moment.
With the bounties in play, you tend to get more players piling in the all-in situation, wanting to collect that $5,000 prize and the coveted T-shirt. Saw several large multi-way pots with bounties at stake. Mattisau's elimination, he had it all in 3 ways. 1 player had queens, Mattisau had kings, Jonathan Little had aces. That one may have had less to do with the bounty and more to do with the hands.
I was gonna say, all of these, it's not like, oh, I'm in there with like 9-4 trying to bust a bounty. Though that did happen, you know, people were calling like unusual.
Right.
But these multi-way ones, there was like aces to kings, queens.
We did have a 4-way one, kings, queens, 10s, and 7s, where the guy who won the pot with queens, he outflopped the kings with a set. Didn't have enough chips to collect the bounty, so the guy who won the smaller pot, Mike McLean, who is still alive in the field, did collect the bounty on Scott Seaver.
WPT Champions Club member Taylor Von Kriegenberg got aces to ace-king and ace-king of Owei Summit and Chao Zhang and picked up a bounty, and is looking to pick up a 2nd WPT final table appearance. He's good in chips heading into tomorrow as well. Alright, but the people best in chips, we have 3 guys over $1 million. You have your chip leader, Scott Baumstein, who has $1.3 million, most of which came from a cooler situation with Josh Aryeh.
Oh yeah, that was
Josh
painful.
Into kings for Scott. Andrew Bedecker, who is sitting on about $1.1 million and has a bounty for busting men win late in the day. And you have
he wore his shirt. He
Moon
immediately
Kim,
put it on.
who finished just a skidge bit over $1 million as well. So those are the big stacks going in tomorrow, but we're at 6-handed play, which is one of the cool elements here at the Shooting Star.
Right. So tomorrow, hopefully not as long.
You're going to see these chips move around a lot as we play down from 20 down
So
to
does
6.
that wrap day 2? Are we done?
I think we are done.
Can I do the final question?
This is an unusual change of pace, but go right ahead, sir.
In honor of Apple's announcement this morning for the new iPad, we're in San Jose, we're like near Silicon Valley.
True. I will allow it.
Cupertino is right down the street.
I don't know what that means,
consider that
but
a
sure.
highway. What is your all-time favorite Apple product? I will go first because it is very easy. The original iPhone.
How retro.
Hey, it's like 5 years old now. The 4S is the 5th iPhone, but the original one like just changed the phone industry, dramatically changed how people view their phones. They now interact with apps and maps and everything.
Let's go.
I'm just saying, changes things in a big way. That's it, iPhone. Favorite all-time Apple product?
Dippers.
The Apple Dipper. I don't
apple
remember
dippers.
the
You know,
Apple
they
Dipper.
slice up the apples. They give you the little caramel packet that you can dip them in. Apple dippers.
Oh, like you can get in a Happy Meal in San Francisco because they don't allow you to sell fries to kids.
Or just at the grocery store. Hey, I'll go retro on you. You can cut up an apple yourself and dip it in some caramel sauce.